we had no political clearance was either sought from or issued by MEA in respect of the travel of the said MP to Germany. Obviously, no visa note was issued either. No visa is required for diplomatic passport holders to travel to Germany. The ministry has also not issued any visa note for any of the country for the said member of parliament.
ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಬರದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವರನ್ನ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಯಾವ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರು ಕೂಡ ಯಾರು ಗೊಂದಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಕೂಡ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಸಭೆಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಲೂಕಲ್ಲಾಗ್ಬೋದು, ಹೋಬಳಿ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಾಗ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಸಭೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವರವರ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯಗಳನ್ನ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 100% ಭಾಗ ಪ್ರಜ್ವಲ್ ರೇವಣ್ಣವರು ಗೆಲ್ತಾರೆ.
DK ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಬಹಳ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್ ಈ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ.
ನೋಡಿ, ಯಾರು ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. SIT ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. SIT ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಯಾವ ಉದ್ದೇಶಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಸಾಬೀತಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕಾಯ್ದು ನೋಡೋಣ.
The special investigation team looking into the Prajwal Revanna videos case rejected the request made by JDS Lok Sabha candidate of Hassan, Prajwal Revanna, for 7 days' time to appear before investigators, claiming he is not in India. Karnataka Home Minister G. Parameshwara confirmed that a lookout notice against the MP and his father, sitting MLA H.D. Revanna, has been issued and the authorities will crack the whip on them if they fail to cooperate and appear for questioning.
ಅವರು ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಬರದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವರನ್ನ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
Regarding revoking Prajwal Revanna's diplomatic passport, as requested by CM Siddaramaiah, the MEA has suggested that no action can be taken without any court direction.
जहाँ तक डिप्लोमेटिक पासपोर्ट को रिवोक या रद्द करने की बात है, वो पासपोर्ट एक्ट जो हमारा है 1967 का, उसके तहत होता है. और उसके तहत आप देखेंगे उसमें जो प्रोविजंस हैं उसमें डायरेक्शन आना चाहिए कोर्ट से, है ना, तब जाके वो रद्द होता है. तो अभी फिलहाल हमारे पास कोई इस प्रकार का डायरेक्शन किसी कोर्ट से नहीं आया है.
The Congress and the NDA have been trading allegations against each other, with even claims that Prajwal Revanna's travel was arranged expecting the controversy to erupt. But even while case and videos have generated strong reactions, and some of the videos could even amount to rape, the Revanna family remains defiant.
ಯಾವ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರು ಕೂಡ ಯಾರು ಗೊಂದಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಕೂಡ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಸಭೆಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಲೂಕಲ್ಲಾಗ್ಬೋದು, ಹೋಬಳಿ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಾಗ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಸಭೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವರವರ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯಗಳನ್ನ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 100% ಭಾಗ ಪ್ರಜ್ವಲ್ ರೇವಣ್ಣವರು ಗೆಲ್ತಾರೆ.
DK ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಬಹಳ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್ ಈ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ.
ನೋಡಿ, ಯಾರು ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. SIT ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. SIT ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಯಾವ ಉದ್ದೇಶಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಸಾಬೀತಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕಾಯ್ದು ನೋಡೋಣ.
Well, so what's next for Prajwal Revanna? What needs to be done now in terms of investigations and authorities? Joining me now, keeping the political exchange aside, joining me now this evening is AK Jain, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, and Yashwardhan Azad, former Chief Information Commissioner. Mr. Jain, first, from a police investigation standpoint, you've asked the MP to appear. He has not yet appeared. He's seeking more time. The police say we need to send out lookout notices. What is the next stage in terms of investigations, and what would be the crucial aspects for investigators in a case of this nature, where they'll have to skim through videos that are perhaps from different periods of time?
Karnataka police, especially SIT, will have to obtain order from the court. As is clear from the press conference of MEA representative spokesperson, that passport should be revoked. They need direction for that as per Passport Act. Number one, it should be obtained from court, and then MEA should be moved so that diplomatic passport is revoked and he is forced to come back to the country. Number two, alleging that BJP government is involved in it, MEA has made it clear that no visa note was issued by MEA. So, because it's in a state's purview, a state has to take action. they should get the statements recorded of the lady under 164 CRPC before a judicial magistrate to strengthen the case so that she is not doesn't turn hostile later on, and investigation should carry on. They should collect evidence. Evidence has to be collected. Only on the basis of videos, you just can't challan a person of the stature of Prajwal Ravanna. So evidence will have to be collected. I have read that SIT tried to obtain statements of other victims also, but their mobiles are switched off.
Okay.
They are not traceable. So investigation has to continue, and once he comes back from Frankfurt, he should be questioned.
Okay. No, that's an important point that you make. Say, once he comes back, they need to, question him, and that's possibly the first step forward in terms of investigations. One of the big step forwards. Mr. Yashwardhan Azad, given the nature of crimes, and some of these are not just some videos that have been recorded. In fact, as many different observers have pointed out, some of those videos could be cases of rape. What should be the way forward immediately, given that one cannot be seen as giving latitude or lenience to a sitting MP in a case of this nature with such gravity?
First, let me point out at the very outset, there have been a lot of irregularities, a lot of lapses in this case or in this investigation already. Right in the beginning, if you really, put blame, you can put blame on both the central agencies and the state agencies for failing to act in time. The question is that when this was known 2 days before the polling and the videos were out in circulation, that was the time for the state agencies to give a notice to this gentleman and say that we need you for questioning and you cannot leave the country. LOC should have been issued so that all the airports in the country would have barred his visit. He went on a diplomatic passport, so visa was not required. So there is no need for this, correspondence between the state government and the central government. He should be given notice. His mobile is known. He should be given notice by the police to appear immediately because the case has been registered. And if he doesn't come, then the state agency should contact the CBI, and CBI should put the alert to the Interpol because that is the nodal agencies. And they will issue the red corner notice and he'll be apprehended and will be brought back. Now, the question is why we are already late is that because there's a lot of electronic evidence also to be captured. By now his laptop, his other mobiles, his place should be searched. And in fact, this joker should have been put under the NSA Act because the kind of hideous crimes he has committed. And it's amazing to be sheltered by the Gowda family. The SIT should have a woman face. Why would any woman come if you have a phalanx of officers in uniform? They will not come to report. But if you have a woman face, you put a series of woman inspectors announced, then they will come and report. So there are a lot of already mistakes which have been committed, and I would blame the state government for acting very late. I would, in fact, it's very unfortunate that the Honorable Prime Minister, after knowing all this, had to campaign in his favor. And the shocking thing would be if this criminal wins also. Over to you.
Okay, Mr. Azad, I seem to be having a problem with receiving audio on the EP since I'm on the field route here. But I gather that you're making a point saying that there needs to be stern action. Take any amount of all the laws that are required to ensure that he faces the authorities at the earliest. And that's an important message that you're sending across as well as Mr. A.K. Jain. Remember, there are several other aspects of this investigation that need to be taken into consideration as well. Were people aware of it? Who was the, who were the people who had access to these clips? What the nature of these clips are, the time period, a lot of work before the investigators there, and we'll keep a close track of that. But shifting focus to our election special and our journey through south of India, close. In fact, cross 7,000 kilometers. We are here at the Nandyal Lok Sabha constituency. Remember, this is a constituency that's been a traditional stronghold of the Congress, and later the YSRCP won it in 2014 as well as 2019. In fact, of the 7 assembly segments in this constituency, all 7 are held by the YSRCP in 2019, and they lost only 1 in 2014. I caught up with the sitting MLA from Nandyal. Remember, Andhra Pradesh has an assembly election as well. The sitting YSRCP MLA from Nandyal, Ravichandra Kishore Reddy, a short while ago, just to get a local flavour of the campaign here in Andhra Pradesh. I also asked him, of course, the question that we've been posing to several of the politicians: how do you combat the heat? What lessons can we take from their election campaign in dealing with the heat? Because remember, Rayalaseema is one of the hottest parts of India, and South India specifically, just much like Kalburgi and Hyderabad, Karnataka that we had visited yesterday. Let's listen in. In these elections, I mean, this is considered the Congress, erstwhile Congress, YSRCP stronghold in Rayalaseema. In these elections, is the challenge tough from the TDP?
No, I don't think. I think we will repeat the same result like last time. We have swept the election last time. In 2019, we had 14 constituencies in Kurnool district, and we have swept all the 14 constituencies. And I'm sure we're going to repeat the same feat this year.
The TDP is on a strong campaign accusing the YSRCP of Gunda Raj and corruption. How do you defend yourself?
So it is the TDP that is, I think it is their role to talk against us, but I think it is finally up to the people who are going to elect us, and the people are very happy. We've been seeing a lot of change in these 5 years.
Hot, very hot. Kadapa is one of the hottest places around, 45 degrees C. How does one keep himself or herself safe from the heat? Give us a lesson from Kadapa to protect ourselves from the heat.
I think it's the people's love towards us and their affection towards
All
us.
you politicians say the same thing.
I mean, that is keeping us going. You know, we've been on the roads for the last 30 days. The temperatures are as high as 45, 46 degrees in this part of the region. But still, we have been going door to door, while the TDP party hasn't been seen as much as we are seen in public. So I think it is the people's love and affection towards us, and that is keeping us going.
The political heat as well as the heat outside, very high. Thank you so much, Ravichandra Kishore Reddy, there on his campaign trail. Well, from Nandyal, we will go to Kadapa and we will keep a track of Andhra Pradesh. But remember, in phase 4, there's also Telangana, which is going to the polls. We'll track a lot of that with my colleague Uma Sudhir. But for the moment, she spoke to the rich candidates of the Chevalla constituency just outside Hyderabad. The sitting Congress MP, Gaddam Ranjit Reddy, as well as the BRS. Remember, he was the sitting BRS MP who shifted over to the Congress. And of course, the BJP's Konda Vishweshwar Reddy, who won in 2014 as a BRS candidate and shifted over to the Congress, and now with the BJP. So a fascinating contest playing out there at Chevalla. Uma Sudhir caught up with both candidates. Let's listen in.
It's the middle of the afternoon, but Mr. Ranjit Reddy, who is the Congress candidate from Chevalla Lok Sabha seat, continuing with the campaign. The heat is quite unsparing, but political heat more important for you.
Yeah, this heat is nothing. I love the political heat because not only during the elections, throughout the 5 years I love that. What I say is, people who are in between the public, people who are always with the public, they should be skilled. Not the 15 days drama what politicians do before that. I just don't like that. What the politicians have to do, what they did in the last 5 years should be the skill.
Mr. Konda Vishweshwar Reddy says, who is the BJP candidate from here, says that it is the Modi wave that is going to bring him to victory. What are you banking on?
He is banking on Modi's name. I am banking on the hardship what I did. I am banking on the people who have come to me. I am banking on the people who are happy with my service in the last 5 years. I am happy with the development works what were happened in my constituency during the last 5 years. So in Telugu we called it as development and reachable MP.
It is strange, isn't it, that you were both in two different parties. You was the Congress candidate, you were the BRS candidate in the last election, and now you both switched parties and fighting on, you are saying, on your own brand equity largely.
That is the beauty of politics. So I didn't understand what politics word mean when I came into the politics. But that all these things are happening and they are bound to happen. That will continue to happen also. Because when he has moved from Congress to BJP, I don't know what reason he gave. I have my own reasons when I came from BRS to Congress.
Tell us the reasons, because you were on record saying that Mr. KCR still has a special place in your heart.
KCR still also has a special place because he is the man who has introduced me to the politics. I don't deny that today also. Let him comment on whatever he wants on me. I am happy because he is elder to me, he has introduced. Second thing is, I have returned back and have done the best for the party in the last 5 years. That was measured by Mr. KCR and the working president, Mr. KTR. So I have returned back to the party. I am convinced that I have done. Now, I don't know for what reasons it has scaled down. It is still scaling down. Whatever political party which scales down may pick up also. I don't want to comment on that also. But today the Congress wave is there. The cadre is with upbeat after winning the assembly elections. Now they would want to prove a point saying that what Congress has done in the last 100 days. Mr. Revanth Reddy, the Chief Minister himself has said, what I did in the last 100 days should be the scale. So with that, what upbeat in the Congress cadre has scaled up also.
Started your campaign, still quite a few weeks to go, in fact.
It's really amazing. I think old ladies to young, I thought only the youngsters know about Modi. Old lady can hardly hear. I showed her this photo and asked who she is. I think even BM Ichtaina. And the guy the person who gives rice, free rice. So, nook and corner, not just youngsters, old ladies also know. After a long time, we have a national leader who reached every nook and corner and every demographic segment he reached.
That's actually my question, because in this parliament constituency, you have so many more, you have BRS MLAs, all the assembly segments, either the BRS or the Congress has it. BJP doesn't have it. And yet, what are you going to do to be able to turn this towards the BJP?
Not much, just be what I am, and Modi is what he is. And that's exactly what happened when I first stood from TRS for Telangana, for the right cause, for the people. People will vote for me. That time, there were 0 TRS MLAs. Yet I won and I made 2 TRS MLAs win. Unfortunately, both are separated. If both are together, I, along with me, 4 BJP MLAs would have won. And so I am very confident. When there's 0, I score. And because I'm always with the people and the cause of the people. That time the cause was Telangana. And this time also the cause was Telangana development. And we've seen 10 years of KCR and 100 days of the new government. The state is bankrupt. The old government made the state bankrupt with 7 lakh crores and Kaleshwarams and Kumbakonams. The new government has a begging bowl in its hand. And yet they are offering freebies. People stop believing it. One of the freebies they offered is to all these ladies, they'll increase the pension to 4,000 rupees and give additional 250 rupees. Not even that, they are not even able to get the old pension, forget about the new pension.
So 100 days of the Revanth Reddy government, he in fact says that I have fulfilled 5 of those 6 promises, guarantees that the Congress promised. What is your rating of their 100 days of government? Because he actually said it's a referendum on my government. Even though this is a parliament election, he said even for this election, it will be a referendum on my 100 days of governance.
The only single and only thing was something they didn't ask for. Free bus rides. Free bus ride. That doesn't give development. power cuts have started.
Konda Vishweshwar Reddy there, the BJP's candidate. Of course, remember in Telangana, there's been a jump over from the BRS to the Congress and the BJP across the board since the BRS's defeat. So it's a fascinating election to watch out for, but that's in phase 4. Before that, in phase 3, in Karnataka, the constituency of Ballari. B. Sriramulu is on test there, and so is the old Janardhan Reddy factor there. Remember, the man who once controlled the BJP with his money power had to leave the party during the mining case allegations, is now shaking hands back with the BJP and supporting B. Sriramulu, who's the BJP's candidate there in the Ballari Lok Sabha constituency. My colleague Pratibha Raman travelled to Ballari to find out the political arithmetic and realities there in that constituency.
As you travel around 300 kilometers from Bengaluru, the granite rocks of Ballari welcome you. The active markets of the Hyderabad-Karnataka region, the soaring temperatures across the rural lands, the dry deciduous forests, home to over 18 lakh voters, make it the Ballari Lok Sabha constituency where political temperatures are always high. In this constituency reserved for the scheduled tribes, BJP's B. Sriramulu, who was a Lok Sabha MP in 2014, will be contesting against Congress's E. Tukaram, who is fighting to enter the parliament for the first time. The moment you land in this constituency, your ears are ringing with catchy tunes. While one highlights Sriramulu's accomplishments in this constituency working for the development and progress, another captures Tukaram's pro-people initiatives. Each of them carefully crafted and composed intricately by the respective teams to make it a viral and a political sensation. Sriramulu hit the spotlight when he worked with the Reddy brothers during party leader Sushma Swaraj's election campaign in 1999. Though she lost then, the BJP barged into the Congress stronghold, holding fort since 2004, except for 6 months between 2018 and 2019. An MLA in 2008, he parted ways with the BJP and the Reddy family in 2011 post the illegal mining case in which Reddy was arrested. While he got back into the party fold in 2014, he now has the power of Janardhan Reddy too behind him. Despite 6 of the 8 assembly segments having been backed by the Congress, Sriramulu is banking on the Modi factor and Reddy's influence to wrest the seat.
ए बार 400 सीट जीतना पड़ेगा. वो 400 सीट्स पे श्री रामलू भी बल्लारी और विजयनगर डिस्ट्रिक्ट से रामलू भी एक होना चाहिए. देखो हम कभी ये 10 साल से मोदी जी साहब को हम देख रहे, एक गुड गवर्नेंस दे रहे. देखो ये एक भी बिना एलिगेशन, बिना करप्शन देश के लिए काम कर रहे.
लेकिन अब जनार्दन रेड्डी जी जो है वो अभी यहाँ पे आपके साथ जुड़ रहे हैं.
देखो पार्टी हमारा पार्टी में नहीं था, बाद में उसका एक रीजनल पार्टी खोले. रीजनल पार्टी खोलने के बाद वो भी एमएलए को तो पब्लिक इलेक्ट किया है ना, नहीं बोलते. कभी पब्लिक से कभी जीत को है तो उसको लीडर को तो एक्सेप्ट करना ही पड़ेगा. अभी बीजेपी में है, अभी तो बहरहाल इधर के लोगों में उसका भी क्रेडिबिलिटी है.
After biting the dust in the recent assembly election in Karnataka, when Sriramulu represented Ballari rural and lost, he is now looking to revive his political prospects with mining baron Janardhan Reddy's Ghar Vapsi to rebuild BJP's fortress here. But the Congress is now claiming that Janardhan Reddy is looking to exonerate himself from the cases. Sriramulu's desperate attempts to gain sympathy votes are being debunked by Congress's E. Tukaram, who is highlighting his welfare initiatives and contributions while holding several posts, including that of district in charge minister. And the Congress guarantees are another poll plank. For Tukaram, challenge lies in the fact that his reputation may be limited to the Sandur Assembly constituency that he has represented 4 times.
In Karnataka already we have seen, so guarantees are work out. In next overall India, it definitely it will work out. He's not spoken this accountability. He's already last time he's become a minister, then also he's a MP. His accountability must now. Ballari people are seeing this Reddy administration. He's last is a minister, no? On that time he already seen. Nothing has happened. This time definitely Congress I will win.
A mix of urban and rural population with an estimated 21% scheduled castes and 18% scheduled tribe population. The issues here are diverse.
मैडम, हमें मोदी जी के ऊपर भरोसा है. मोदी इज द पर्सन, ही कैन मेक द रूल्स. हमारा इकोनॉमी थर्ड पे लेके जाने के लिए वो गारंटी दे रहा है. 2000 रुपए के लिए हम हमारा वैल्यूएबल वोट खोने के लिए तैयार नहीं है.
कामगार है आदमी वो, और गरीबों को मददगार है. बहुत अच्छा काम किया.
आपको लगता है कि यहाँ पे जो है सिद्धरामैया गारंटीज और मोदी गारंटीज के खिलाफ यहाँ पे?
नहीं, वो भी काम करेगा. क्यों? गरीब लोगों को अनुकूल हुआ ना. हर गरीबों घर को पैसा पहुंच रहा है. एक जिंदगी चलता, गरीब घराने का जिंदगी चलता.
Both the parties have worked out the caste equations by fielding candidates belonging to the Valmiki community. The BJP is looking to mine Janardhan Reddy's clout in the region, and the Congress is looking to scale Ballari boulders in this region with its guarantees. With camera person Govind, Pratibha Raman in Ballari for NDTV.